Hey guys, Ray from loveyourrv.com back at you again. Today I got a little project. I'm going to reseal the underbelly of the trailer. If you see my past videos, I installed some new electric waste valves and also repaired the tanks. So I'm happy that all that's not leaking now. So I'm going to put the underbelly back in. And since I've had a lot of questions about the underbelly and how I got access into there, I thought I'd just show you putting it back on and everything and how I have it set up. So since I've done so much work in the underbelly, I've cut two large sections out of it to make it easy for me to access things. You can see this is the underside has some foil insulation for cold weather camping. So what I do is I tape all around that so that I can keep it in place. And then you can see I have two sections cut out. You'll see more when I get under there why I have two sections. So that is held in place around some of the corners. It actually screws into the I-beam with some 3/8 inch Tech screws. And where it doesn't screw in, I use duct tape or Gorilla tape. So there's all the Tech screws I'm going to have to put back in. And this is the 2.88 inch wide, really wide Gorilla tape, and it does a great job. I run that along all the seams and it holds everything in place quite well. Why I like this is it comes off of that black Coroplast coating. It's pretty easy to peel off if I want to get it undone and do some work on that. So every year I kind of refresh it before I go down south. I've never had a problem with this coming undone while traveling. Also I have some wire here. I kind of in one area it kind of hangs down a bit, so I make myself a kind of little wire hanger arrangement just to keep it snugged up. And I have some strapping for my Wastemaster hose box there at the back end. I have it strapped up just for a little bit more support. So let's crawl under the rig and I'll give you an idea what it looks like under there, and you can see how much access I actually have with those panels taken off. So our rig is a 2011 Cougar, and back then they used the big sheet of Coroplast plastic under there. I'm not sure what they do now, but this was pretty common back then with most of the Keystone products at least. And then they used those 3/8 Tech screws to hold everything in place. Let's see this looking from the front to the back. And you can see the big cutout area I put in there. Let's come in a little closer here. There we go, that's a better perspective. So this is my gray shower tank that's right at the front of the rig. And then next is the black tank. And over here is my plumbing and the output section. So you can see that's where most of the work usually needs to be done when I change valves. I used to change valves and stuff like that. And some of the projects, you can see my box that I installed there for my Wastemaster hose to store in, and rerouted plumbing. So that's why I cut those two big sections out. One section fits here and the other section fits on the other side of the main output pipe, up above the box there. So let's go in further and I'll show you some of the other, give you a different look at it and show you some of the other flaps that have been cut out for different access points. Okay, here I am on the other side of that box, looking towards the front of the rig. You can see this is one of the pipings I had to run around the box. I couldn't go over the box or I'd lose my downgrade for the plumbing, so I ended up going with a flexible hose. So you can see here, just have some strapping there. I'm going to replace this strapping. When I put that panel back, I run through a small hole in it and I'll put brand new strapping. It just gives it a little bit of a extra support at the back here. That box this bracket is holding the box on, clamping it onto the main I-beam over there. And there's another clamp that'll get done up as well. This is right underneath my galley tank, which is situated between the axles. If you look over there, you can see the pull rod for it between the axles. I'm going to be putting an electric valve in this one as well. I just couldn't afford it at this time. And you can see there's an access panel cut and taped right here, so I can peel off that tape at any time and undo that flap, and I'm right at the valve there in case anything goes wrong. Also, if we look further back, let's just zoom back there. That back corner is where my water tank, there's the low point drain for my water tank, and that's also the input to the water tank. So there's another flap that's been cut in that corner in the Coroplast underbelly for access. And there's another couple, one more point here. Let's just zoom around, turn around right around here, and see this mess of stuff here. That's actually the LP gas that goes in to the rig. You can see the main line comes down here, and then it feeds the stove and those sorts of stuff in there. So that's one reason it was hard to pull the whole underbelly down in one shot, because all this stuff I didn't want to actually mess with the gas piping, just leave it in place. You can see here, this is actually where, as an access panel, the factory had cut out, and that's to access the slide motor. In case the motor fails, I can go in there with a ratchet and pull the slide in manually. So that's a good place to know. If you have a Cougar like mine and you're ever wondering where it is if they didn't cut that panel out, you can see these are the wheels on the passenger side, and just a few feet in here you can see that access point. The only other access point I have cut out is a little further forward, and I don't know if you remember, last year I had a plugged up tank flusher, and I cut that out there so I could get access to that flusher. I took it off the tank and cleaned it out. It was plugged up with I think hard water deposits. It plugged, it's like a little sprayer, and all its little nozzle was plugged up. So I have that as another access point. So you can see lots of ways to get to the underbelly. Over the years I've learned where everything is, where all the wiring goes. Maybe I'll just show you inside, just for people that might want reference. I'll show you the inside. I'm going the other way towards the back. Get a flashlight for you. Okay, so I'm just underneath where all that mess of propane piping went in. You can see the black loom there. That metal part right there, that's the vent coming down. A couple-inch vent that sends warm air into the underbelly when the furnace is running to keep these tanks from freezing. There is the slide motor that I was talking about. So that's what you would want to get access to crank it in. Looks pretty clean in here. So further back you can see the galley tank. If you look back, there is a circuit board. That's my sea level pickup sensors for the sea level gauges. I'll just give you a look in there. Also back there is where the wiring comes down. Zoom in a bit there. You see those wires past those bolts. There's some wires coming down a bundle that goes up into the power center, and that's where a lot of the wiring to go from the charge converter to the batteries comes down, and then it slides across through there to the other side and follows that I-beam into the front compartment. Well, I just thought I'd give you a quick look in case you're a Cougar owner and you need to know what's in there. Get to know what to expect if you drop the underbelly. Okay, let's get to work putting the underbelly back in. Got the first panel back up there. Along here there's a couple of those tech screws that hold it in place, and there's a couple on the other side near the rail, and then I use the Gorilla Tape along this seam. Got that pipe hanger back in place, and I've installed my strapping there on the back of the box, giving it a little bit of extra support there. Some more Gorilla Tape, and I'll just go over this other side and show you. I've put in my tie wire there to kind of give it a little bit more support before I put in the second panel. I just wrap the wires around each other and then hang them from this. There's a metal bracing that goes across that holds the tank in place. So I just wrap the wire there, kind of give it some gives it some good support, so it's not just all kind of bellowing down, especially now that I've cut it, so it weakens it a little, so that gives it a little support, and that'll give so when I put the tape on there, it doesn't sag very much, sucks up the underbelly. Okay, next we're going to put the next section in there. One trick I learned is leave the Gorilla Tape out in the sun for a while, and it heats it up and makes it a little bit softer and easier to work with. Okay, second piece all back in place and taped up. So along the front here, it's bolted to the frame, and then along that I-beam it bolts in with the tech nuts there. And then you can see where I've used a liberal amount of Gorilla Tape down this strip here, and then along that strip there, where it's kind of sucked in a bit from that wire. Well, that's really strong now. No problems there. So we got the underbelly all back in place. I have one more thing to do. I like to do is to get a can of this pest block spray foam. I'm just going to go through all the little openings that insects or mice could decide to come up in, especially mice. So go through and fill all the gaps that I can find with this stuff. Then I'll be finished. All the mousy holes are plugged up. Should be good to go. Underbelly back in place. Let's give you another quick look here. Sounds like Anne's having a shower. I can hear water running down into the tank. Okay, see if it passes beagle inspection. This is very important. What do you think, Angelina? I guess it's going to be okay. That was a pretty decent job. Under the rig, the domain of the beagle. Well, there you go. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope that helps cougar owners that have been wondering what I do with that plastic underbelly, all those projects I'm doing under there, how I'm dealing with the underbelly. And if you've never taken the underbelly off, maybe it'll give you kind of a clue what's going on under there. We're just finishing up summer here. Won't be long now before we get our brand new truck and say farewell to good old Blue. People have been asking when you get your new truck, or they think I have my new truck, but we factory ordered it in June. It was going to be 3 months, so I expect it sometime near the end of September, so really looking forward to that. And you know, I'm going to be sure to give you a good first look at it, and then we'll give you some reviews on it. So until next time, Ray from loveyourrv.com. Cheers, everyone.